Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Clock, a channel dedicated to helping late bloomers and those feeling behind redefine success and take intentional steps toward the life they want. This is day 7 of the January of Becoming a Better You challenge. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive in setting weekly value-based goals, and I think you'll find this to be an incredibly powerful way to make real progress in your life. I'm really enjoying this concept of value-based goals. Let me tell you a little bit more about what makes this approach unique. Well, traditional goal settings often center around, specific goals like the dream house or the perfect job or maybe even the perfect body. Those are pretty common goals. While those things are great to strive for, focusing solely on the outcome can sometimes set us up for disappointment if we encounter setbacks along the way. Life rarely goes exactly according to plan, and that's where the value-focused approach comes in. Instead of fixating on achieving a specific goal, we're shifting our focus to embodying the values behind those aspirations. So it becomes less about buying a mansion and more about the value of abundance that the mansion represents. It's getting to the core of what we truly desire rather than getting caught up in the superficial details. And the beauty of this approach is that unlike goals, which can sometimes feel fleeting or out of reach, your values are a constant source of motivation. They act as your internal compass, guiding you regardless of any twists and turns along the way. Now, since our values are so important, how do we actually figure out what our core values are? It's a deeply personal process that involves looking inward and asking yourself some big questions. What truly lights you up? What makes you feel alive and fulfilled? What principles do you want to guide your life? So it's more about exploring what truly resonates with us rather than trying to find the right answers. It's basically like a form of self-discovery. And for those who might feel a little lost or stuck in this process, remember there are resources out there to help you. Even something like ChatGPT can be a surprisingly useful tool for brainstorming values. And there's another crucial point I want to emphasize about values. While it's important to identify our core values, those guiding principles for our entire lives, there's another layer to consider. The values that might be specific to a particular day or week. These can often fall under the umbrella of our core values. So it's like there's our overall life compass, and then there are smaller, more nuanced compasses guiding us on a daily basis. Let's say one of your core values is harmony. That's the big overarching value. But on a particular day, the value that might feel most important to focus on could be connection, a value that falls under the umbrella of harmony, but with a more specific focus. Or maybe it's vice versa for you. Your core value is connection, and your value for a particular day is harmony. So we're not just looking at the big picture, but also tuning into the subtleties of each moment and what feels most important to prioritize. And the beautiful thing is these daily or weekly values can change and evolve as needed. What felt important to focus on yesterday might be different today. It's all about being attuned to your inner needs and desires. Can you see how this value-focused approach can add so much depth and nuance to our goal setting process? So how do we actually translate these values into actionable goals? That's the next step in our journey. And it all starts with getting clear on what you want to feel or embody during the week ahead. Let's talk about how we can actually start putting this into practice. So think about the week ahead and ask yourself, what's the overarching feeling I want to experience this week? Maybe it's peace, maybe it's joy, or maybe it's a sense of accomplishment. Whatever it is, write it down. Now, how do I actually connect that to my values and specific actions? This is where we bridge the gap between those feelings and tangible goals. Look at your core values and ask yourself, what actions aligned with my values will help me embody this feeling this week? See how this differs from a typical to-do list? It's not just about getting things done, it's about infusing each action with meaning. It's a fascinating shift in perspective. Suddenly, even mundane tasks can feel purposeful when they're connected to your values. For example, let's say you value joy and you want to feel a sense of peace this week. What would that look like? Maybe a value driven goal could be I will dedicate 15 minutes each morning to meditation to cultivate a sense of inner peace. It's not just about meditating to check it off a list. It's about intentionally aligning that action with your values and your desired feeling for the week. And there are so many other ways that we can apply this approach to different areas of our lives. Let's say one of your core values is growth, and the feeling you want to experience this week is expansion. How would you translate that? So the goal could be I will sign up for that online course I've been eyeing to expand my knowledge in this field of interest. Notice how that goal isn't just about acquiring knowledge, but about honoring your value of growth and your desire for expansion this week. What if one of my core values is connection, and I want to feel a sense of belonging this week? A value-driven goal might be, I will reach out to 3 friends I haven't spoken to in a while and schedule time to connect. This should help you get more excited and motivated for the week ahead. You can always do it the other way around of starting with a goal and focusing that goal to a value. However you want to start, it's your way. That's the power of aligning your actions with your values. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Once you've set those value-driven goals, write them down in a way that feels inspiring to you. It's time to bring in some of those creative vision board techniques. We're not just creating a list of tasks here. We're crafting a visual representation of the week we want to experience. So break out your favorite pens, markers, stickers, whatever sparks your creativity, and write those goals down in a way that's visually appealing and emotionally resonant. It's like we're giving our goals a little extra boost of energy by infusing them with creativity and intention. And don't underestimate the power of placement. Where you choose to display these value-based goals can make a big difference. Put them somewhere you'll see them regularly. Maybe on your fridge, your bathroom mirror, or your desk. It's like those visual cues are little reminders throughout the day, gently nudging us back into alignment with our values and intentions. Speaking of reminders, here's another strategy. Schedule time in your week to reconnect with your goals and values. Maybe it's a 5-minute check-in every morning or a longer reflection session on Sunday evening. It's so easy to get caught up in the busyness of the week and lose sight of what we set out to do. Remember, this whole process is about experimentation. What works for one person might not work for another. So play around with different approaches. Try incorporating your values into your daily planner. Create a digital vision board or even try a value-focused meditation. It's about finding what feels authentic and inspiring for each of us. And that sense of personal resonance really helps boost motivation as well. And when you're genuinely excited about the goals you've set, it's much easier to stick with them. It becomes less about willpower and more about alignment. It's like our actions are flowing naturally from a place of deep inner knowing and inspiration. And this brings me to a crucial point. What happens when those inevitable obstacles pop up? Those days when everything feels like an uphill battle and motivation is nowhere to be found. Those moments can be so discouraging, especially when we're trying to cultivate new habits or make positive changes. What's the best way to stay on track when those challenges arise? Well, the key is to have a strategy for navigating those rough patches. First of all, remember that those moments are completely normal. Don't be too hard on yourself for having them. Everyone experiences setbacks and fluctuations in motivation. Acknowledge those feelings. Don't try to push them away or pretend they're not there. It's okay to feel discouraged or frustrated or even a little lost at times. Giving ourselves permission to feel those emotions can actually be incredibly liberating. I think we often put so much pressure on ourselves to be positive all the time that we forget it's okay to have those off days. And once you've acknowledged those feelings, try shifting your focus from what's not working to what is working. So instead of dwelling on the fact that I missed my morning meditation, I might focus on the fact that I did manage to fit in a quick walk during my lunch break. It's about looking for those little wins, those moments when you did manage to align with your values, even if it wasn't in the exact way you had planned. Those small victories can really add up and make a difference. Also, don't be afraid to adjust your goals as needed. Life is constantly changing, and so are our needs and desires. So, if a particular goal is no longer feeling aligned or inspiring, don't be afraid to let it go or modify it to better suit your current circumstances. It takes the pressure off of having to be perfect and allows us to embrace the ever changing flow of life. This whole journey of value-based goal setting is about creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. It's not about achieving some external measure of success, but about aligning your actions with your deepest desires and living in a way that feels true to who you are. About designing a life that we love. We're the architects of our own experiences, and those core values are our blueprints. And just like any good architect, we need to make sure our foundation is strong. So let's talk about some strategies for cultivating those core values and making them an integral part of our daily lives. How can we strengthen those core values and really bring them to life? How do we actually cultivate our core values and make them more than just words on a page? One of the most powerful ways is to create rituals or practices that embody those values. Think of rituals as intentional actions that you do regularly to connect with your values on a deeper level. They're like gentle reminders throughout your day, nudging you back into alignment. Say one of my core values is mindfulness. Like a ritual could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths before I start work each day. It's about creating these little pockets of pause throughout your day, opportunities to reconnect with what matters most to you. And these moments don't have to be elaborate or time consuming. Even just a few minutes here and there can make a difference. So, if connection is one of my core values, a ritual could be setting aside time each evening to have a meaningful conversation with my partner or loved ones. It's all about weaving your values into the fabric of your everyday life, making them an integral part of who you are and how you show up in the world. We're creating a life that's infused with intention and purpose. And these rituals can be incredibly grounding, especially when life feels kind of chaotic or overwhelming. They're like little anchors, reminding us of what's truly important and helping us navigate the ups and downs of life with more grace and resilience. So we've talked about rituals. Are there any other strategies that we can use to cultivate our core values? Another strategy is to surround yourself with physical reminders of your values. Remember the visual representation mentioned earlier? This could be anything from inspirational quotes to photos to objects that hold personal significance. So, if one of my core values is creativity, I might display a piece of art that inspires me or keep a journal nearby to jot down ideas and inspiration. The idea is to create an environment that reflects and reinforces what matters most to you. It's like we're creating a visual and emotional landscape that nurtures our spirit and inspires us to stay true to ourselves. And let's not forget the power of language. The words we use have a profound impact on our thoughts, feelings, and actions. So try incorporating affirmations that reflect your values into your daily routine. For example, if one of my core values is courage, I might repeat an affirmation like, I am brave and capable of overcoming any challenge. Or you could try an ask affirmation like, why do I enjoy challenging myself so much? The more you repeat those affirmations or affirmations, the more you're rewiring your brain for positive change. Those beliefs become like seeds that eventually blossom into reality. It's like we're intentionally planting seeds of positive change in the garden of our minds. And remember, this is all a journey. not a destination. There will be times when you drift away from your values. There will be moments when you feel lost or discouraged, but that's okay. It's all part of the process. It's like we're learning a new dance. There will be times when we're in perfect sync and times when we might miss a step, but the key is to keep moving, keep practicing, and keep striving to find that rhythm, and never underestimate the power of self-compassion. Be kind to yourself, especially when you feel like you've fallen short. Remember that every day is a fresh start, a chance to reconnect with your values and try again. It's about giving ourselves permission to be human, to make mistakes, and to keep learning and evolving along the way. The more we practice living in alignment with our values, the more it becomes second nature. It eventually becomes less of a conscious effort and more of an authentic expression of who we are. It's like we're becoming living, breathing embodiments of our deepest desires. And as we embody our values, we create a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves. Our actions inspire others. Our energy becomes contagious, and we contribute to a more positive and fulfilling collective experience. We're not just transforming our own lives, but also making a positive impact on the world around us. And remember, this is just the beginning. As we continue on this journey of personal growth, our values will light our way, our intentions will fuel our actions, and our commitment to living authentically will create a life filled with purpose and meaning. I encourage you to spend some time reflecting on your core values and how you can weave them more intentionally into your daily life. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. Each step you take in alignment with your values is a step towards creating a life that is truly your own. So, as we wrap up this week with goal setting, I want to bring it back to our January of Becoming a Better You challenge and its connection to the eagle spirit. We've been exploring how these small steps can lead to these big transformations. Small steps, big changes, and I think the eagle's qualities, vision, clarity, possibilities, those have really come through in this week. Now that you've tried these activities, which resonated most with you and which are you continuing into the next week? And what values are you going for this next week? I'm keeping gratitude, journaling, finishing my vision board, decluttering, being in nature, and of course, value-based goal setting. Next week, we'll continue the Eagle's qualities starting tomorrow with day 8, Revisit a Childhood Joy.